Welcome to the Aussie Grappling Girls podcast,
where we talk all things female jiu-jitsu.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Hannah.
And together, we're Joe Hannah.
So is that your magic power? Is that what you're like? Is
lean machine, fighting machine, fucking cardio for days.
I would want to be self-healing. And the ability to heal other people.
Oh, that's so noble of you.
But more so to heal myself when people break me.
No, I would want to be like super, just like athlete, like the super ninja warrior type person that can just do anything and everything and flexible and jump high and...
You just want everything. Yeah, you're like spilling off a few things.
I know.
You're being greedy.
I know, but I just want to be athletic and cool.
Athletic and cool.
Yeah.
That's your superpower.
I'm already there, motherfucker. There. Done. Wish granted. Already there.
Except your cardio. Your cardio is shit.
Fuck my cardio. I'm too lazy to do anything about it right now. I need someone to push me.
I'll like poke you with a stick.
I need someone to yell at me and tell me to keep going because I don't make myself get going. Although today I pushed it pretty hard with my rolls. I was like, crap, I'm not going to be too late. No, I was a bit lazy still.
No, you were. You had that face on.
Okay, there was some rollers I was more intense on. But...
She has this face that is like she's just looking out in the clouds, seeing what everyone else is doing while she's rolling you. And she's purely just feeling what's going on, not actually paying attention. And you're trying your hardest to survive. And this bitch is just like moving, squashing you, transition, sub, like nothing ever happened. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
It's just a facade. I just try and put on that face. It's like my poker face. My rolling poker face. So you think I'm not putting in effort, but actually I'm dying on the inside. My cardio is just like, bitch, no! We don't got this! But I'm just like, make it look cool. You're right.
I'm going to find a video that shows your face doing that and zoom in and just have it.
It's me with like glazed over look.
Yeah. I'm sure I've got a lot of footage now that I just haven't been through. I've like started just recording, like setting my camera up like inconspicuously in the corner. Mm. So everyone forgets it's there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of afterwards, you're just like looking at how everyone's roles are and how everyone interacts. It's well funny. It's good. And then you can watch yourself roll and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, no one wants to do that. I don't like watching myself roll. Mostly because I can just see my pants down, halfway down my ass the whole time. This is why I wear spats under my gi pants, though. Like, some people don't wear spats underneath it, which is, their own prerogative. No, some people don't. But
I wear my,
I wear
Nike shorts
underneath. I wear full-on... no gi under my gi.
Me too.
Because then and I was saying this to people today because they're like, oh, I can't do no gi because I'm not wearing my rashi. And I'm like, why don't you just wear your rashi under your gi? First of all, less friction and it's not hurting as much. And then, if you do happen to want to take off your gi, especially like open mat, then you can. And it's easier. Seamless transition. Done.
And I think you sweat more as well, like being all covered up. Kitted up. So from head to toe. So
I'm just sweaty
more,
anyway.
I don't know. I think it takes a little bit more adjusting. Like people get, I think maybe claustrophobic, and that's what does it because they're like sweating more and they're a bit like
breathable. Skin or something. I don't know. But I just feel claustrophobic in the gi anyway. Actually, no, I'm a lot better with it now. When I first get back into gi, I'm like, ugh.
I have to say, I do prefer like people wearing rashis under their gi.
Yeah, your face doesn't get a whole face full of chest hair and sweat.
Like that, we've all been there.
Yeah. I
hate that like,
face of that.
And it makes that noise too.
Yeah, it's like, it reminds me of that Meet the Fockers movie when he's doing the basketball shot and he lands on the guy's chest and he gets the face full of like sweat and hair and he coughs up that fur ball.
Oh, that's nasty.
Such a good movie. Oh wait, no, that wasn't Meet the Fockers, was it?
I don't know.
Haven't you seen it?
I haven't seen a lot of movies, apparently.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's basically the feels.
Okay.
People will know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I do prefer it. I've always worn a rashie and...
Well, if I don't, my boobs fall out.
What boobs?
What do you mean, what boobs? I've got massive titties. I wish they were smaller. Fuck me. I've always wanted to... I wear, like, push-up... I mean, not push-up. Fuck, the opposite. Fuck me, that sounded bad. I wear sports bras in everyday life just to push them in and keep them there. I'm like, go down. Down, boy. Down. I don't like them being that big. Actually, when I first started BJJ, they were, like, really big. They were, like, double Ds. And now they're just Ds. But I went down to C at one point, and I was like, this is the life. We want to maintain this. And then I got fluffy, and then now they've gone back up sizes.
And that's like, that's where you store some of your weight.
I know, that's where I put fat on my boobs. And elsewhere, but, you know, my boobs too.
And the muffin top.
Yeah, it's just all around.
It's that good, like, on the hip line, like, whoopah!
Well, no, I don't put it on my hip line, actually. I don't put anything on from my bottom half.
Yeah.
Carrot.
Carrot.
This is me, carrot. And I don't have any hips.
Carrot life.
Yes, carrot life. That's right. They, you know, just, and I don't put weight on my legs that much. Actually, I put a little bit of weight on my legs now.
I reckon you have. I reckon in your, like, your butt and you, like...
Muscle and fat, though.
Yeah.
But, you know, I never used to put fat on my legs much at all. Now it's like, my body's like, we're a woman now. We're going to have babies. I'm like, no, this is not my time. Your time has come. No.
And my body's still just like, fuck you. Fast metabolism.
I used to have a fast metabolism. I was underweight for a long time. Until I was about 15. And then puberty hit. And I was eating like a horse. And I never put on weight because I had a fast metabolism. I was underweight. And then it just suddenly...
Did you stop, like, I suppose, at school, did you stop doing as much sport? I would imagine you would have been sporty all the way through.
Yeah, I've always been pretty active. But I was just eating really bad. Well, not bad. I was just eating a lot. And I didn't really understand nutrition at all.
Where was the point that you thought you had to lose weight?
Probably when I was about 15.
Okay.
I went from being really tiny and skinny, like underweight, to then like going completely the opposite and got like kind of chubby, just like exponentially from 15 to 17. And I think when I was 17 or 18, I was probably my heaviest I've ever been, which was about 76 kilos, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that was me on the borderline of like overweight. I don't think I was ever like full on in overweight, but I was like right on the borderline in terms of like BMI, in air quotations, BMI.
I think that's a crock of shit. That.
Yeah, it is. But it's still a good indication of when you actually need to start looking at
True.
when you need to lose weight. But and that was when I didn't have as much muscle as I do now. Like I've always been pretty solid, but I didn't have as much muscle as I do now. But yeah, and then I got a personal trainer and lost some weight. But I was working at patisserie at the same time, so that was a bit counterproductive. Fuck my life.
I never went through that stage. My metabolism is really fast and it's a family trait that I have, but I was never strong.
Yeah.
So I think my body now, I can lift a lot. I can push a lot.
Yeah.
I have a very strong body now compared to when I was younger and even to 4 years ago when I first started training. I was squishy.
Yeah.
Like, I was still skinny, but you could see it in my face and I wasn't healthy, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then now coming into training, you've got a purpose for a strong body.
Yeah.
And it gives you motivation.
Yeah, when I started BJJ, I always felt like I was a pretty strong person, and then I started, because I did personal training, and so I had, already built up a lot of strength starting BJJ, so I was always quite strong. But when I started, I think I was probably about 70 kilos when I started BJJ. And then over that first year, I think by my first comp I was down at 60 I don't know if it was the first comp or the second comp. It was either within 6 months or 12 months I got down to 64.
You were trying to lose weight for it?
Yeah, I don't know why it is, but with like BJJ and like
Fighting
and all
sport?
that, there's like this culture of weight cutting, which is really weird. But no one put the pressure on me to cut the weight, but I was just like, oh, yeah, if I'm gonna compete, then I need to cut weight and be lighter.
I felt that as well.
Yeah,
but
it's an
I
interesting
was too
pressure.
lazy. I was just like, I really need to.
You're like, she'll be right. But I did. I no one put that pressure on me, but like it was just this exterior and internal pressure to be lighter because I felt like that's what you had to do to compete.
Actually, I was on the bottom weight bracket anyway, so I didn't see there was no point.
You're like that. I'm not gonna have any opponents. yeah.
So that's why actually.
Yeah, I think because at the time I was dating someone. I was dating someone who was also doing training, and he was weight cutting as well all the time.
Yeah,
and he wanted to do MMA, and he also wanted to lose a lot of weight for BJJ. So we kind of did it together a bit. Yeah, but I just mentally got caught up in a bit too deep, I think, and yeah, that really sort of spun me down into this sort of weight cutting thing that was so unnecessary.
I think it's a dangerous it can give people eating disorders and it can screw with their mental health a lot because if no one else is like onto them about staying healthy.
Yeah.
And there is so much misinformation out there.
Shit, yeah. It's so hard to sift through it all.
Yeah.
And especially in that, like, the era that we've grown up in, I think Facebook and Instagram really started taking off when we were in our early 20s. Yeah. And that was when I started really, like, comparing myself to other people, and me losing weight for BJJ was kind of just an excuse for me to do that for the exterior pressures as well, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, that fucked with my head a lot. And it was, like, so unnecessary.
And also, people's different body types do different things when weight cutting. Some people can't cut weight. Yeah. Some people, you stop eating for 2 days and you cut 2 kilos or whatever. And then some people do that and and nothing happens. And
and, like, I think it depends on your mental vulnerability as well, because the year prior to that I had depression. Yep. And so I was already, like, mentally a bit weakened by that sort of thing. And then when it came to like BJJ and then feeling like I had to cut weight or like I should, or I don't know, it's such a weird pressure. It's bad. I don't like it. And
me either.
And I honestly, any person that talks to me nowadays about cutting weight for competition, I discourage them from doing it. It's just like, it's just BJJ.
It's not the world.
It's not the world
title.
Championship.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, honestly, it doesn't matter that much. But at the time, I thought that that's what I should do, and that was the,
And there's extremes. Yeah. I found Ronda Rousey's book really interesting with that, because she said I can't really remember, it's been a long time since I've read it, but she found that she went up a weight class because she, I think, got lazy and couldn't be bothered. Yeah. And she smashed all those people too. Yeah. And that was her point, that she realised that
she's like,
she's actually strong there and good there. She's like even better because she has all this fuel, all this power that comes from food.
Yeah. And I started getting really weak as well. I remember that, because that really started a really bad spiral with me as well. And I remember trying to train. I don't know if you remember me talking about being really tired at that period where I was like, I'm tired all the time. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I had blood tests and all that sort of thing to see if I had like Ross River and all that sort of thing. And the doctor thought it might be Ross River. And then it was, no one was really sure. But now that I actually look back, it's like I was not eating anywhere near enough as I should. I had severe problems.
Well, I have to do that now. I have to be onto what I'm doing and make sure I eat enough. Yeah. If I know, like, my weekend, we've got a training camp coming up or whatever, I have to be onto it and go, make sure I eat. Yeah. Like, I have to be really onto it, because I don't have that trigger. I'll just keep going all day without eating just because I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
by the end of the day, I die.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where you start getting like the shakes and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so
you feel really weak and
I'm consciously
yeah.
eating little bits
Yeah.
constantly now because of that reason of just feeling no energy and like and putting the right things in your body. So you're like.
I think
fueling
for me,
things.
I started. That's an interesting thing too, though, because I think some people do get caught up on eating too healthy. Because I know what started with me, especially with BJJ and weight cutting, was kind of like this orthorexia situation. Do you know what that
Explain that.
So orthorexia is like a newer eating disorder that people have sort of really discovered is when you have obsession over eating clean, like quote unquote clean. So your like disorder is like you limit yourself to stuff that you perceive as being clean or healthy. And like that full on happened with me with my first year of BJJ. I was like, I have to eat clean so my body feels good for training and I lose weight and I'm on form and all that sort of stuff. And it just like, it set me up for a whole world of like problems, I suppose. So like, while you should eat well, don't get hung up on eating clean and strict.
And I think if you have like a craving, like eat a little bit of it and stop the craving. Otherwise, you're gonna binge.
Yeah, I think, and that's exactly what happened with me. Was that I started like trying to ignore my cravings and go like I still need to eat clean. I'd
Actually,
eat something
I
healthy.
remember you taking stuff to stop craving sugar. And actually,
Really?
Yeah, like supplements and stuff to stop. That type of...
yeah, I think that was probably chromium or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I remember.
I fucked with my body so bad. I did, honestly. The stuff I used to do and all that sort of thing, like it was ridiculous. But yeah, that was probably chromium, I think.
What I find weird about, well, so it just happened to me. I was in my weight category, and I was literally 500 grams. That's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And the week out, I was like, okay, I need to make sure I cut out any crap.
Yeah.
I have to eat cleanly for the week.
Yeah.
I craved bread. I don't actually eat a lot of bread.
Yeah.
It's something that I took out of my diet a long time ago. I don't not eat it, but I just don't buy bread.
Yeah.
But that week, all I wanted was bread and butter.
It's so fun. Honestly, when you tell yourself you can't have something, the amount you obsess over it is ridiculous. And you're like, why? Absolutely, why? And it's just, it's ridiculous. Fucking, I think a lot of it is girls' bodies too.
Yeah.
Girls' bodies and hormones. We just want ridiculous stuff and I don't know, like we have to have certain things in our diet or we crave them and stuff. It's so hard not to go with that.
I do find though that my cravings mean something.
Yeah.
So I find when I'm craving like salty stuff, like if I'm craving like chips, hot chips, it's usually because I've trained and I've sweated heaps and it's actually the sodium that I want.
Yeah, there's usually a link
somewhere. And
there.
I've kind of noticed that when I crave foods, I try and figure out what the craving's about.
Yeah.
And I will always...
There's usually a nutrient associated with the food that you're craving, and you can usually find that, whether it's in a little bit of that one or... But you can usually find that in either a little bit of the food that you're craving or in, like, a healthy alternative, or... It's like sometimes when people are craving chocolate, it's like the magnesium or something, and so you should eat nuts instead or something. I can't remember exactly the ones, but...
So you give me shit for, like, when I have BCAAs and, like, any additives to my water. It's so funny. Yeah. But I find I need something in my water after training. Otherwise, just water doesn't usually cut it for me.
Yeah. You love your, like, orange juice after
Orange juice
is... do you know what? I think the orange juice is more, like, to do with the sugar to replace the glycogen in your muscles that you've just given up. You need, like... quick sugar just to like replace your glycogen. The BCAAs is probably like coming from that actual like that sweet taste in the BCAAs. Your body's like, oh, that's sugar. But you know, like I think a lot of people use BCAAs for that sweetness and stuff.
Yeah.
And while it's got the branched chain amino acids for protein and all that sort of stuff, you don't really need it, especially not straight away. And it's been proven to be basically redundant if you have a whole diet and all that with protein. So the thing I don't like about BCAAs is all the other additives.
So what I find funny is how many supplements are around now and what works, what's good, what's not. Magnesium, I think, is the one thing that everyone should get on board with.
Yeah, I need to get on it more.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I got some stuff that I was getting really restless at nighttime and started taking this magnesium stuff just before bed.
Yeah.
Slept like a baby. So good. And ever since then, like, if I've been training hard and my body's just not recovering, magnesium fixes that. Otherwise, you get into bad habits, like bad sleeping habits. Yeah. You're not recovering.
I'm the queen of those.
Yeah. Well, I was.
Yeah.
And in the last, I reckon, 12 months, I have completely retrained my sleeping habits. Before, I didn't sleep that well at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like sleep routines and circadian rhythms and stuff like that are really important with sleep and recognizing when to sleep. And I think I have really bad circadian rhythms and sleep routines. It's getting better, though.
That's good.
I go through cycles where, like, I sleep really bad and I wake up a lot or I take ages to get to sleep. But, you know, at the moment it seems to be all right.
I need, like, I'll supplement if I'm noticing 3 days and I turn into a habit for me.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's so easy to create habits like that.
Hey? So I noticed that's my thing is 3 days and bam, like I'll wake up at 2:00, smack bang every morning, and then I can't get up for work. And so
throws you out.
Yeah, I'll supplement when I notice that happening. That's when I smash
I use,
like good supplements.
I use melatonin for a bit.
Yep.
I found melatonin to be really good when I was trying to get my circadian rhythm in order.
Yep.
Because it's actually a natural hormone that you produce, but sometimes, especially times of stress or whatever, you don't produce enough or production goes down. It's good for that, recognizing the light. So like when the sun rises, your body goes, oh, it's time to wake up. And when it gets dark, it's like, oh, it's time to go to sleep.
I think also your first, I don't know, I reckon 2 years of jiu-jitsu, you have broken sleep because you're doing...
in pain.
Pardon?
You're just in pain all the time.
Yeah.
Everything's broken and sore.
You're just so sore and...
Actually, that still happens to me.
Yeah, I think you do toughen up, though. But I remember just thinking, like, you can't lean on your shoulders because you've been, like, inverting too much. Yeah. Or just there's so many things that you've been doing at training. Or you're, like, doing stuff in your bed. Like, you're sleeping and you... I don't know, you do I think that's reverse hip escape to turn over at night.
I think that's how I started sleeping on my back, though, like, because of injuries and stuff. Like, I sleep on my back, and I just sort of, like, lie there really straight. Anyway, a couple of people commented on it, but I crashed with, like, one of my family members or something, and he just, like, looked at me, and he was just like, why are you sleeping like a vampire? Like, what are you doing? That's creepy. And I was just like, this is the only comfortable position for me.
Someone, I did the same. She was like, I thought you were dead because you didn't move all night. I was just like, no, I was good.
It's my spot.
I was comfy.
Yeah. I find it hard to sleep on my right side because of my shoulder, especially like the way my head, because I've got really broad shoulders. Like, sleeping on that side, my head, like, doesn't reach the pillow.
I noticed my game is turning, like, I've been inverting a lot lately. Yeah. Like, that's my go-to at the moment.
Yeah.
Holy shit, my shoulders and neck are so sore at the moment. I just want someone to give me a massage. Like, just
I'm definitely
come here and stand behind me and give me a massage. I don't know. Like, I think I would like a slave to do that. Thank you.
So massage all the time. It's called husband, but he's never here.
No.
So, what are you going to do?
You. That's your job.
Yeah. Instead of paying rent, I just give you massages.
Well, that hasn't happened yet. So
I've got like 6 weeks to make up for.
I was about to say, rub my feet, but I hate my feet being touched. I'll kick you in the face.
I'm sensing some mixed signals here. I'm not sure what to do.
You stay on your side.
Okay.
There's a line. I'll call you when your services are needed. Thank you very much. So, I think you get a tougher body, like, over the time of doing jiu-jitsu. But I think you learn to deal with stuff better. You learn to eat better. You learn to rehab better.
Manage stuff better.
Manage everything. It just takes you a few shit years to get into the routine of it all, and then you finally
get a trial and error as well. I think you got to also learn how your body runs best. It's kind of like, before a comp, what you eat and that sort of thing, and you learn what fuels you best, or if you go better with like an empty tummy or something slight, like a coffee, or I don't know. But same with everyday training, and when you're training a lot as well, fueling your body enough for that as well.
Yeah, I agree.
You start learning what you need to do to maintain that, I think.
Because what works for me doesn't work for most people. I have a really odd, it's not conventional how I do things, but it's what I've done my whole life, so it works for me.
Yeah. I'm still figuring it out.
I was really lucky. My mum kind of set me up for success, I think, in this department, because she never used to overfeed me. And when I said I was full, she would be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I tend not to overeat just because I've been trained from a young age that, I just didn't eat much. Yeah. So I never got served a huge meal, so I never was forced to eat more than I needed to.
Yeah.
And just listen to my body, and it was okay for that. So I think a lot of my habits stem from my mum.
Yeah.
Back when I was 10, 11, those sort of ages where you develop a lot of your habits and how you think about things as well.
Yeah.
So I had a good relationship with my food and where it came from, and all those little bits and pieces that you don't realize until you're older, that you're like, go you, I hated you at that stage for feeding me all that terrible food, but now as an adult I eat like that normally.
Although I have to say, because I was raised to eat pretty healthy too, because we were a big family as well. I have 4 brothers and a sister, so 6 of us. So we never really got...
You couldn't afford food.
Exactly. We couldn't afford to be eating out and all that sort of stuff. So, and my parents are both teachers and stuff as well. So we never got treats like a lot of other families did, I think.
Yep.
Just because my parents are a bit more strict and that sort of thing. And so... growing up, I didn't get treats as much as a lot of my friends did, so I think that made me overdo it. When I finally was 15, I had a job, and I was like, yes, I can buy all the food in the world, and that's how I got fat, because I was just like, all the food, and I didn't really think about the consequences, and then I got super chubs, and I was like, oh, it's actually not a nice thing.
All my money went to horses, so I didn't have any spare money. That money pit, it was when I started working. That's all where mine went to. So didn't have those luxuries.
Doing sport and exercise and stuff for me was always such a positive. And when I had a personal trainer and stuff, that was awesome. And then I found jiu-jitsu, and that was even better. And, I think I wanted to be better for that as well. You want to be in physical peak especially when you're doing BJJ. At the moment, I don't feel like I'm in that physical peak, and I don't feel like I'm rolling to my best capacity.
But you're still I feel like you're coasting at the moment. You with your rolling, everything is really smooth, and how you're doing stuff, even against higher belts or whatever, I can still see how smooth and how good everything is from you. Yeah.
But I just remember being as well, it's hard because you reflect on yourself as a different state. So when I was sitting around 64, 65 kilos, I felt really physically in good form, I think. I felt light and agile and all that sort of stuff. And now I'm up 70, 72 or whatever.
And so what I was talking about the other day is you spend a lot of time working your lower body and stuff. So that's going to like pack on kilos.
Yeah.
Because you got a booty now.
Yeah.
So it's like you've got to like play within those. You've got to see like
you got to be able to like
having a denser body is a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm trying my best, especially like throughout my whole BJ journey, is to look at myself in an objective way as a functional, like the way I function in BJJ, and not necessarily just like aesthetic or whatever like that. And it's really hard to tell at this point because I have put on muscle, but I know I've also put on fat. So it's like sort of like at this awkward phase where you go like, I need to be leaner. It will mean that my performance will increase to a point, but then there's a point where you're too lean, I think, and you're not actually in your physical peak because you're not fueling yourself appropriately, or you've actually wasted away some of your muscle or whatever as well.
So I remember when I hurt myself, like I was at my worst, I dropped down to 50 kilos.
Yeah, you got really tiny.
I was like, my legs, looking back on photos, it was horrendous how skinny I was.
Yeah, because I wasn't around at that point, but I remember seeing like photos, and I think I saw you briefly, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then in that 12 months, I kind of picked myself up and I gained 8 kilos of muscle and I was still wearing all the same clothes.
Yeah, same size.
And same everything. And that was huge to me.
Yeah.
But I will say this, it bugged me because I was the heaviest I had ever been. Like, in my whole entire life, 58 kilos is the heaviest I've ever been.
Yeah.
It messed with me.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that society has put on you that being heavy is a bad thing. I knew
that your weight determines like your quality.
I was feeling like I feel strong.
Yeah.
I feel awesome. And I knew in my mind, I was like, it's fine. I'm strong. Like, check out my arms. Check out my legs. My legs were huge. And it was still messing with me. And that made me so mad that I still had that little, like, shriek of society telling me that because I gained 8 kilos, it was a bad thing.
Yeah. And you're like, I think I should weigh less. Like, should I do something about this?
Yeah. And I almost did. But because I have, like, a fuck you attitude when it comes to these feelings. Like, I don't want to be controlled by what society tells me what I'm supposed to. I really put the middle finger up for that. And I was just like, no, you know what? I ate more. I was just like, I'm going to fuel myself with good food. I'm still going to hit the gym. I'm still going to, like, squat. Actually, pretty proud of this. I could squat 80 kilos.
Nice.
I don't think I can do it now. But, like, I pushed harder because I wanted to prove a point to myself. Yeah. And I really encourage, like, I love telling that story now because people, just in case someone else is dealing with that same struggle, because that could have been really bad. Like, I could have stopped eating. I could have given myself an eating disorder because I should have been.
That's the sort of thing that happened to me, though, as well.
Yeah.
You know, you end up fucking your own head over with it because of this, like, societal pressure to weigh less or to look a certain way or whatever. And it's like so much of it is to do with the figure on the scales or whatever, and you're like, that's ridiculous. That doesn't, like, define anything. But even so, and like, that's literally been the struggle since since high school for me. And you just go, like, it's just such a ridiculous thing. But
it makes me so mad.
I think it's hard that we are in a sport where we have to
be on a weight as
well. We have to actually monitor our weight if we want to compete.
Yes.
Because if I wasn't competing, I wouldn't look at how much I weighed at all because it's just fucked with my head too much over the last years. Nowadays, the only time I, like, really weigh myself is when it's coming close to comp and I need to see where I'm going to sit in the weight category so I can sign up in the right one. but I don't try and cut weight into a weight category anymore, unless it's like, I think now I just go, oh, I'm this weight, I'm just going in at that, in that weight bracket. Unless I'm like right on the borderline of a weight category and I go, well, clearly I want to be in the lower one. And even that is hard for me, really, I suppose. But, weight in BJJ is just, it's like, it doesn't even matter though, because it's just BJJ. It's not like the world. Yeah. It's not the UFC or the world stage or whatever. It's just,
it's you doing
the comps that we've done have all
for
been
a hobby.
Really,
bit of fun.
Yeah.
It's to have that. Well, it's not, but
I
to
just
have
think
a medal and
there's
be like,
been some people who've done hectic weight cuts for it.
Yeah, for not much return.
Yeah, to what end and what reason and all that sort of thing. So I think if you can go about it in a healthy way and have it as a long-term goal. So like even for me, like with Pan Packs, I go like, I want to be in a different weight category for that. But that's that is 9 weeks away now. I'm not going to go, oh, I'm going to cut like 5 kilos in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's,
Ab challenge is on.
Yeah, good luck.
We're going to draw them on with concealer.
But it's an interesting thing. And I've always wanted to express that for other girls in BJJ, is that you don't need to cut weight for BJJ.
Not at all.
You don't have to. There's no reason why you should, and don't feel the pressure to, because I fell victim to that and it severely fucked me up for years.
And also, please hit us up if you're struggling, because I think sometimes if you have someone to talk to or just kind of check, is this okay?
Yeah.
Please, send us a DM on Insta, message us on Facebook and...
Try and talk to your coach about it too, I think, because I didn't talk to Chris about mine for a while, and when I actually talked to him about the issues I was having, he was like, why didn't you tell me? And you don't need to feel this way and that sort of thing. So, it's just sometimes you put pressure on yourself for no reason, and you need to verbalize. I think we're all
really good at that.
Oh, I know, right? But you need to be able to verbalize it to someone for them to be like, it's not necessary. Yeah. You need someone to actually bring you down off that sort of expectation of yourself and give you some perspective, because it's hard to give yourself perspective sometimes when you're caught up in the emotion of something.
And that's why we're so lucky, because we literally bounce everything off each other, whether it's good, bad, ugly.
Yeah.
We have each other to do that with, and then we bounce it off the coach and our training partners and everything like that. So it's pretty cool to have that relationship, and obviously not everyone's going to have the same thing.
That was probably my problem with that second year of BJJ, was when I moved away.
Yep.
And I was in Perth, and I was kind of all on my own, and I had my club there, but I wasn't as close with them as I was with people down here.
And getting in your own head
is
the worst.
I full on isolated myself that year. I got so reclusive, and I just got full on caught up in ridiculousness, and I didn't have anyone to sort of talk to about it, and I didn't feel like I trusted anyone enough to talk to about it. And so it was just, that was a horrible year. I've talked about it on the previous podcast, so that was one of my hardest years, was my second year of BJJ. So.
And I think because it's a tough sport, so showing people that you're vulnerable is absolutely the hardest thing ever.
And that was a major factor for me, was just I wanted to have this tough
girl appearance.
Yeah.
I can deal with it. I can deal with whatever you throw at me.
I'm fine, and that sort of thing. And
that's why I got so injured, is because you
get so stubborn. You're like, fucking, I can handle this. I can handle myself. I'm fine. Nobody needs to look after me.
When sometimes you just need a hug.
Yeah.
And you need to cry.
Yeah. And spontaneous crying at training. We've all been there.
It's horrible.
I think the first time I spontaneously cried was in that sort of sense, I think. Yeah. I was just, and it was so random. But, you can't really explain it. It's never just one thing or whatever. So.
It's hard. And sometimes it's not, I don't know, this is just us. We're kind of just don't ignore us, but don't like, it's not a thing. Like, if we're crying, we're like, we're dealing with it, okay?
Yeah.
Don't make it a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing annoys me more when someone, like, oh, you okay? And then you're like, I'm fine. And then you start crying again.
It, like, sets you off.
Yeah.
And you're like, please don't.
Stop being nice, people.
Let me come to you.
Yeah.
It's cool when you have people at training, though, that you feel like you have a couple of key people at training that you know that you can talk to when you're having certain problems. And sometimes there's, like, a person for that problem and there's a person for that problem and whatnot. It's cool.
I like when you're not feeling it and you can just go and lean on someone's shoulder and be just like...
Everyone's just like, I get you.
I'm done.
I feel ya.
I'm done. I'm calling it quits.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But rolling, like continuing rolling and crying, that's awkward. I've done it and I feel really bad for whoever's training with me because they don't know how to react at all.
I don't think I've ever, like, rolled and kept crying. I usually have,
no, I have. I was
run off to my own private space to bawl my eyes out when no one can see me.
I have just gone, nope, I'm fine. And the tears just kept pouring.
Drilling. I did that, yeah.
The tears just kept pouring out and there was nothing I can do.
Yeah.
It was my body breaking on me.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day.
That happened to me last year when my body was breaking. I was frustrated and I was crying out of frustration. I was like, I'm fucking still doing this, and you keep going, but you're crying. And
that's the only time that I cry on the mat is when
Yeah.
my body is not up to scratch. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do this, but my body is not letting me.
Yeah.
That just is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about, like, some people who have major anxiety. Like, how they deal with that on the mat, because it's one thing having depression, but having anxiety is, like, next level in terms of rolling.
Yes.
Because there's so many different things that can trigger that.
I can't even comment on this at all. It's never...
Yeah. It's hard for people who haven't, like, experienced mental health issues to, like, actually fathom what it's like.
I don't pretend to know.
Yeah.
Like, I know my struggles.
Yeah.
And I know my issues.
Yeah.
But I don't pretend to understand.
Yeah. I find it interesting when people kind of, like, belittle other people's issues when it's like, the thing is, like, the worst that you've gone through is the worst that you've gone through. That's all you know.
Yeah.
That's your worst. So you don't have anything worse to compare it to. So that's your worst. I can't belittle that.
Yeah.
And, like, there's some people who have been through this, and this, and this, and they've had, like, hectic shit go on. And they kind of, like, belittle your problems because it's like yours aren't as bad as mine. But you go, but that's your worst.
Yeah.
Just because I've experienced worse doesn't mean that you know what that experience is like.
It's still at a level 10.
Exactly.
It's still
your
10.
worst.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, always something that I've had to sort of, like, pay, like, attention to with people, especially when we, you know, on the mat and all that, and people I've come across that we've met that have had mental health issues. It's actually really allowed me to connect to them.
Yep.
Because I understand certain levels of what they've experienced and that sort of thing. And, just not belittling stuff that they've gone through. Because, I
haven't experienced that. People are usually more surprised that when you do open up about different issues and that, they're like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought you, like, you cope with it well. So,
I know, right?
And that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Is you're just like, oh no, I try and hide this from you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to know I'm...
Yeah, there's people I've talked to about my issues, like, randomly. I remember drunkenly telling someone at our Christmas party about some of my issues, and he was just like, "Oh my god, like, I had no idea. Would have no idea. You're so happy, and you've got, you know, like, all this and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, but you don't know what people go through on, you know."
I'm so proud of you
sidelines.
that you have opened up about it as well, because other people who are experiencing similar things to you, like, it's cool.
'Cause I wonder how many especially women in BJJ have experienced a similar thing. Because it's hard because no one talks about it. And it's really hard to talk about. And it's taken me so long to be able to get to a place where I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And it still makes me nervous as fuck, to be honest. Like, I know there's people I know that are going to be listening to this who have no idea
Yes.
that it's been a major struggle for me. And it's even, you know, I haven't even talked about the worst of it. But, like, it's still one of those things where there's so many people like who might be experiencing it who've never actually talked about it ever. And I think the better places I could get to was when I started talking about it more.
So the more having that person that to just unload your thoughts, no judgment, just
But
chats.
that's part of the reason why I came to stay with you was like just having that, just being able to detach myself from me going into a worse place or a darker place, and I go, I need to be in a safer place or with someone that I can trust or talk to or just completely remove myself.
That's another awesome, like, I admire you so much. You have been able to take an outside view of yourself and gone, I need to change this, and you've changed it.
Yeah.
So many people can't do that.
Yeah.
Or they can recognize it, but they don't change what they've done.
Yeah.
And that is so inspiring to me for you to do that and to be open about it as well. I think it's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always try and do that sort of thing when I feel myself slipping, and, you know, I think recognition is the first thing and then acting on it is the second. And it was like when I've had depression in the past, you know, you suffer with it for a while. And for me, I go, okay, I've suffered long enough. I need to do something about this. Whereas there's people I know who have had depression for literally years and they've never done anything about it. And they're still sad. And I'm still like, dude, go and see a doctor or something. I don't know. You need to change something because you haven't changed your life at all in the last couple of years and you're still sad. And I go, I've been sad for a couple of months. I'm not my 100% myself. And, like, you guys could all see it. Like, I was going downhill and I was connecting less with people. And, I recognize that myself too. I reclude myself. I pull myself away, and you just start doing, like, I know my own cycle and I know my own, like, behaviors and what they are. And I go, that tells me that this is going down into a certain area and going like, I need to do something about it now before it gets really bad. Yeah. And, you know, there's some people who either can't do that or they don't have the tools or the people around them to be able to do that.
It's all very, like, all these processes in it, doesn't matter whether it's, like, mental illness or, like, actual physical injuries. It's still about recognizing, doing something about it, and actually physically doing something about it. Because that's our biggest problem, I reckon, is going, I know, it'll get better. Yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly, and I've done that myself, and you do it for so long that you're like, fuck me. Like, you can't fight stuff for that long.
And isn't it crazy when you actually start getting better?
Yeah. I remember saying to you, like, when I was just like, fuck, I wish I did this months ago. Like, like, there is elements where you do, like, you try and be strong for so long, whether it's injury or mental health or whatever. You literally try and be strong for so long because you think you're like, you're stubborn. You're like, I'm tough. I can tough through this. And then you actually, like, finally do something about it, and you're like, fuck me, I should have done this months ago. I've been struggling for so long. Like, I've been in struggle town. Why? And I was like, why did you not tell me to do this earlier? Like, I fucking did. You're like, oh, yeah. Fair enough. You're like, but I didn't listen because I'm an idiot.
Well, I do that. I'm like, I'm fine. Okay, I'll go do it. Okay, I feel amazing now. Shut up.
Fuck you. Yes, I know. Told you so. Blah, blah, blah. All that. Yeah. But
I feel like I'm getting better when I notice people going down and just going, you good?
Yeah.
Like, talk to me.
Yeah.
Can I just poke you? Like, just.
I like being able to recognize that too, and throwing someone a line, you know, like, because some people think that they're hiding it well. Yeah. And you're like, oh, honey, no. I know you're not coping. And that's fine. And then going, like, reaching out and being like, I know you're not fine. Yeah. Just, if you do want to communicate, I'm here for you to communicate with. If not, it's cool. You just fight your little battle. It's all good. But most of the time, people will be like, thank fuck someone noticed. Yeah. And like I said, that goes to injury, mental health, so many different things. There's so many things. And we've both dealt with injury in that sense and done exactly the same thing. I think we should probably talk about in the next podcast, probably.
Yeah, go more into depth into
actual injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one because so many people in BJJ have injuries
And just what we do.
And I think mental health ties in so much with injury too, because there's been times when I've been injured and it's fucked with my head so bad too. And you're just like...
It does, and then it's a cycle. And
dude, I feel really bad for people because I haven't experienced like a big injury, like an actual breakage of any of my bones or anything like that has kept me off for more than a couple of weeks. Like anything that would be more than like a month, actually probably more than 2 weeks for me, but definitely encroaching on a month or a couple of months.
It's hectic.
I would want to like, I don't know, I would want to jump off a bridge.
It's hectic, and I feel sorry for the people who don't get to mentally prepare. Yeah. I was really lucky in one of my injuries.
Yeah.
That my major injury, which was
Yeah.
my wrist breaking, which, I mean, we'll go into this a bit more.
Yeah, but let's not give it away too much.
Yeah. I got to prepare for it,
Yeah, that's
and
good,
so it made it a little bit easier, but it's still, it's not fun.
Yeah.
And making that decision is hard.
Yeah.
When you need to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Like, so hard.
Biting the bullet, fuck. It is a hard one. But it's gotta
Where's
be
that
done.
saying even comes from?
I don't know. Can you catch a bullet in your teeth? We just literally both just did that at the same time. Fuck, we're dorks. Oh, fuck. Anyway,
it was. I'm sorry that it like wasn't as like fun loving as
it wasn't. It was pretty intense and serious, but it was one that we had to have.
I think so.
I was saying to you from the start when we did this podcast, I was like, we need to have probably like a couple of serious ones, and this was definitely going to be one of them.
Hopefully, we haven't like dulled your mood towards our podcast, but
makes you feel any better. I feel so vulnerable right now.
I'll give you a hug later.
Please do.
Or Shelby can.
Will you spoon me tonight?
No, that's going too far.
Damn
you
it.
can have the dog.
Okay. No, I don't want her. She's like a cyclone in the morning. Fuck. Oh, fuck. We actually need to do grind my ghee.
Yeah, we do.
You know what grinds my ghee?
Joe, what grinds your ghee?
Yeah, oh yeah. Do introduce me, please. What grinds my ghee is when I'm on the verge of tears and someone asks me, are you okay? Or especially like my coach, because sorry, Chris, you set me off.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
If you're listening to this, you just set me off. You ask me how I'm doing and I just want to cry. And like, so someone...
I was coping until that point in time that you noticed.
Yeah.
And then you get touched on the shoulder.
Make that eye contact, that really like sincere eye contact, like, are you okay? And you're like...
Eye contact.
Yeah.
Eye contact is bad.
You know what,
in general.
though? It's when, I think for me, it's when a man notices that I'm like, it must be bad. Because they've noticed. So I'm like, fuck, it must be bad, honestly. If, like, this male has managed to notice that I'm not okay, you know, they're usually...
Your pretending is not working anymore.
Yeah, they've seen through it, so it really must not be cutting it. So, and that's what makes me cry, because my dad does it to me too. It's like, if my dad asks me if I'm okay and I'm not, I will just cry, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Dad, just setting me off. Fuck you for caring." But it's the same goes in BJJ. If someone asks me, is like, "Are you okay?" and I'm literally on the verge of tears, I'm like. And like your eyes well up, your ears well up. Yeah,
it's that bubble in your throat that gets me.
Yeah, that like burning in that.
Yeah,
like, and you're like, don't do it. You're like, just sort of stare really intensely for a bit while the tears go away, and you're like, blink, blink, blink. I'm fine.
I think that is definitely more of a girl problem, I reckon, than a dude problem. You guys.
Fucking female hormones.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys may just control your tears better. I don't know, but
I don't really, and that's it. Like, I don't really cry when I'm sad. I just cry when I'm frustrated.
Me too.
Or like, yeah.
When I'm angry. Well, actually, no, I don't get angry. I get even.
So ominous. Look out, it's a badass coming.
Anyway,
that will do it for us today.
Catch ya.
See you later.